Hello and welcome back to the Puncher's Chance podcast, and welcome to the preview show where we're having a look forward at all the boxing coming up this weekend and beyond this weekend. That is, of course, Joseph Parker, Fabio Wardley at the O2 Arena and the rest of that card as well. And obviously when we're talking about Matchroom and possibly a fight for AJ at the back of this year. If you like what that sounds like, stick to the end. Otherwise, subscribe for 2 podcasts every single week, or Spotify for the audio version. Straight into the action. We'll get onto the card, the rest of the card of this Parker Wardley fight. Don't know why Parker Wardley is a real tongue twister for me. I'm really struggling. I have to use all my mental capacities to get that out. We'll speak first on that fight. How good a fight is that?
It's intriguing, I think. Being totally honest, I see Parker as a massive, massive favourite. I think he should get the job done, but Wardley is that fighter that's got that one punch to change the fight. We've seen it in the last fight with Justice Hooney. He was more or less essentially getting his head boxed off for, what was it, 10 rounds, I think. Was it? Yeah, about 10 rounds before the stoppage, wasn't it? Where he landed that one flush shot. And I think that's something him and Ben Davison do very well together, is they just find that one thing, and if they can make it work on the night, it's all they need. But I think this potentially could be one step too far for Wardley this time. Yeah,
I absolutely agree. And I remember when I first saw this fight, I sort of remember thinking, like, what? Why? Like, especially when he's got such favourable rankings with WBA, and you talk about like Pulev and stuff with the regular, and I thought there was options to go towards the world titles for Wardley that didn't involve Parker. And so I was thinking, why have they done this? But the closer I get to it, the more I am open to the idea that actually Wardley does have a chance in this fight. And when you look at it, and I think, Parker's performance against someone like Zhilei Zhang, where he comfortably beat him, but actually he was caught with 3. I think he got dropped in that fight. Way too many times he went down. And he's, don't get me wrong, and I mean this in no disrespect to Joseph Parker, he is a genuine world title level fighter. He's definitely top 3 in the world right now as heavyweight boxers. But if you were to look at his weaknesses, they would play into the hands of Fabio Wardley. So I'm intrigued, like you say. I'm really intrigued. I'm interested to see whether or not Davison and Wardley can work out what that one shot is, and not to mention as well survive a very powerful Joseph Parker. This isn't a Justice Hooney type fighter that's going to be boxing your head off and working and not necessarily causing the same knockout risk. I think Parker will be looking to stop Wardley. Absolutely, he will be. And that in itself is something he hasn't really had to contend with in the same way. Fraser Clark wasn't really going to blast him out of there, but Parker very much could under Andy Lee. So, like you say, really intriguing. I think Parker has to go into it a massive, massive favourite for obvious reasons. But like you say, there is that puncher's chance for Wardley. And if anyone, he just has this inevitability about him. I don't know what it is. Yeah. Like that Fraser Clark fight, the first one, he was losing a lot of that fight, but he was able to get the shots to drop Clark, to get that close on the cards and get the draw. And then the second one obliterated him so swiftly. And it feels like for him, and I think he believes every time he gets in the ring, no matter what, he'll find that one shot. And so he will be confident in this fight. And that is magical.
I think if you look at the two fighters, realistically, there's one standout, but like shit, Wardley does just always have that ability to, at least once in a fight, land that punch he needs, or land a big punch. And Joseph Parker has shown the ability to get hit quite often, and when he does get hit, he is droppable. And Wardley's got the punch power to drop you. So, and when you throw in the mix that Parker isn't, he probably is going to be technically good enough to outbox and be technically better than Wardley, but then if he goes into it in the mind frame of I'm much better than Wardley, I can go in and stop him, does him lock in for a stoppage himself, open himself up to taking a shot, which could completely change the fight. So I think that's when you're sitting there, that's the thing that's in the back of your mind where you're thinking, yeah, Parker should win, but there is that chance that shot lands and it could be switched up. And I do agree with you when you were saying that it was a bit of a shock when it was first announced, because I thought Wardley, I thought it might have been smarter for them to look at the Pulev fight, because I think that's what Moses Thomas looking at now. So I thought it might have been Wardley that went for that, because it would have been a way for him to get that world title shot sort of thing without having to take on one of the bigger names, essentially, or one of the tougher fights. But he's been on a good run. He's earned his way to this fight, and this is the ultimate roll of the dice. If he can somehow manage to pull this off, beat Joseph Parker, the potential next fight for him is absolutely massive again.
Yeah, and like you say, this is a roll of the dice, but the result, or the three results, of the roll of the dice is: one, you lose. Oh well. It's Joseph Parker. He's probably the second or third best heavyweight in the world. You're good. Move on. Come back better. Result number 2 is you beat Joseph Parker, but you become the WBO interim champion. Usyk chooses to fight Ajit Kabiel. You are the current WBO champion of the world. Ideal. Or the third option is you win this fight and you get an undisputed title fight against Alexander Usyk. That is a roll of the dice, absolutely, but there is phenomenal upside without a huge amount of downside, or no more downside than there is in losing any boxing fight. And of course there's risks with that. We know that. I'm not sort of trivializing that, but this is as good an opportunity as it comes. This is a gilt-edged chance to win a world title, and I get a shot at undisputed, the payday of your life, etc., etc. So, like I said, the more I look at it and the more I think about it, I absolutely understand why Fabio Wardley has gone for this fight. I absolutely understand why they believe they'll have a chance in this fight. And the other thing is, you've got to remember as well, Frank has his finger in all the pies. He also manages Moses Atoma. They've made the decision that makes more sense for Atoma. This makes sense for Wardley. And equally as well, I suppose we're looking at this very from a Wardley-centric point of view, because he's the kind of underdog in it. For Parker, this makes a huge amount of sense, because rankings-wise, Wardley is hugely favourable. And so I think if you win this fight, that is a real statement to Usyk and the heavyweight division of, no, it's me. I'm the one who deserves this shot next. Not Ajit Kabiel, who does deserve a shot, absolutely. But Parker's putting himself, and by staying active against good fighters, putting himself as, no, I'm the guy that should be fighting.
Yeah, I think I do half feel that this fight's got the potential to look quite one-sided as well. I wouldn't be overly shocked if Parker goes in there and gets the job done quite quickly.
I don't think it'd be a long night regardless.
Yeah, I think it's got the potential to, we say, I know it's going to be absolute 12-round slugfest, but no, I think he's got the potential definitely to show the level and show, and we've been how long have we been banging this drum of he's earned his spot, and he's been sort of just kept to the wayside for some reason or another. But I don't think if he wins on Saturday, there's no more looking past him now, and he deserves, whether it's a shot or Usyk or whether those belts get fragmented and he gets his world title shot, which he has deserved and earned probably over the last 18 months to 2 years from his activity, his progression with Andy Lee as well. And that, like, again, how many fighters have we said with Andy Lee have seen that progression? But Joseph Parker was the first one really that we've seen that sort of...
It's really been the second coming of him, hugely.
And he's just looked like a completely different fighter over the last sort of 2 years. He's had sticky moments like the Zhang fight, but he come through it where a lot of people wouldn't have... he dropped 3 times? Not a lot of heavyweight fighters would have come through that fight. He's more than earned his spot, and I think a win on Saturday should hopefully pretty much guarantee a world title fight for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Unfortunately, however, we have to get on to the fact that the undercard for this one is less than...
Have we booked the pay-per-view?
Absolutely, yeah. The money's set aside. No, look, yeah, it's the £25 pay-per-view. It would have to be a pretty, favourable card for me to pay that anyway. This is not that. Unfortunately, they've lost Ezra Taylor versus Louis Edmondson, which I don't think would have been the sort of fireworks fight that maybe people would have wanted, but it certainly would have been an intriguing fight to see who would have won that one. And Louis always seems to step up when he needs to. It's unfortunately he's not fighting. Steed Woodall stepped in instead, another, don't get me wrong, a decent operator, but someone that Ezra Taylor should be beating. And otherwise, there's not too much to write home about. There is a number of tickets still available in the O2 live. This isn't me promoting it. This is it's just a fact of the matter. Have Queensberry spread this card a little thin?
Yeah, it looks like. I'm surprised there isn't at least one or two more.
Yeah, I mean, looking at Danny Quartermain, Royston, Barney, Smith, I'm not mad at it, but I'm not.
Like for us as boxing fans, but I won't be paying the £25 to watch it. If it was free, I would have sat there and watched the card, and I had no real issues with it. And I'm really looking forward to the main event and how that plays out. But personally, I wouldn't be paying £25 to watch. I think a card mostly made up of prospects fighting journeymen with maybe one 50-50 fight, like you said, that's on the undercard, and then a late replacement. I know they can't help the late replacement. It's a bit of a sucker punch for them whereas essentially fight week. But even again with Ezra Taylor and Louis Edmondson, that isn't the fight that would tip me over the edge to go, you know what, it's worth chucking the £25 that, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's not a great card. I think the pay-per-view money essentially is being paid to the heavyweights, and they obviously need to get paid. And I think, like we spoke about in the last episode, that Saudi effect of once they go over there, they get paid a certain amount of money, and that's now what they're worth regardless of where they fight. And
Joseph Parker ain't cheap.
No,
and you know
well,
what?
Fabio Wardley's had a couple of fights over there now, and
Deservedly so as well.
He's fringe world title level now, essentially. So we sold out the Portman Road last time out, and I don't want to know how much it's going to cost to get Usyk to Portman Road if they can make that fight happen next if he wins on Saturday. But yeah, it's not going to be cheap, and I suppose that's what the pay-per-view money's going towards. But I can't see a lot of people paying it.
No, I don't know. It is a shame, and it's also a shame because it doesn't give us a huge amount to talk about in terms of the undercard, because there's not a huge amount that excites me. I think Ezra Taylor should be getting through Steed Woodall. Obviously, the idea is that Royston Barney Smith will be beating Danny Quartermain for I think it's IBF and WBO European. Obviously, Royston Barney Smith, young fighter, had a lot of fights, but still very young. So there is intrigue there to a degree, but I think like you say, this is very much a main event, and a main event without a world title on the line, which I think is part of it. It's a very expensive fight to have no world title on the line. I think you'd have to get AJ Fury out to kind of top that as money spent without a world title. But then that fight, sells its own pay-per-views and tickets in its own right. So yeah, it's a shame. I think that it is also a shame that in the O2 they're not going to be filling the O2 necessarily. It looks like. And I think that could have been a really special atmosphere, like you say. Portman Road for Fabio Wardley, from everything I've seen, from the people I've spoken to, that atmosphere in there was magical. It really was, especially really when he got that knockout and it erupted. And I think there will be atmosphere in there. But if Fabio Wardley, for example, does knock out Joseph Parker in a magical one-shot knockout, if it doesn't have that same eruption or magic to it, it'll be a shame.
Yeah, and they nearly had to contend with having the BBC show on the same night as well, which I think would have had even more of an impact on people. You might get a few more now that would have sat down to watch the BBC show and thought, I'm just going to have to pay the £25 to watch that instead. But if that BBC show was on as well, the numbers, I think, would have been really bad.
Yeah. Not ideal. A fight, a card, an event that's been rumoured to, as per the Ring magazine, December 20th. Matchroom are going to be putting on a show in Accra in Ghana. Presumably, it has to be with Anthony Joshua. There's been talk of back end of this year, early next year, Anthony Joshua is going to be fighting. Anthony Joshua was with Eddie Hearn looking at the stadium in Accra just a few months ago. So if it's not got AJ on the main event, then this is...
What do you reckon could be the funniest fight they could put together that just wouldn't be AJ?
Anthony Yardland and Arthur Ford is the answer that comes straight to mind. Not that either of them are with Matchroom, but Yeah, I think there absolutely is. There is scope for that. If it is AJ in Ghana, main event, who's the opponent?
I don't know. I'd like to see Martin Piccoli. I think that would be the move, but I don't know whether they'll make that happen. I don't know if Piccoli fancies a scrap a few days before Christmas. Like it's 20th of December.
20th of December, yeah.
But got a nice Christmas to look forward to. We'll have that for the 20th. We'll go a new way then a week later. But yeah, Piccoli would be a good one. I'm trying to think. Tony Yorker is another one that I mentioned, obviously. I don't know. It'd be as long as AJ's back out, I think that's the main thing that they want to make sure happens, and to have it out there as well is going to be, well, it'd be the first time I think we'll get to watch a fight and experience the atmosphere of a fight out in Ghana like that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Do you think they think about the Makhmudov fight? Obviously with the
potential.
I think it's the international or intercontinental, whatever title he's got now, comes with some more favourable rankings, and obviously AJ's dropped out of the rankings now, so they can't only think about commercially what fights make sense. They do have to think about rankings wise what fights make sense, because you know, age is but a number, but there is a ticking time clock for AJ in terms of how long he can continue to operate at our highest level in the sport. And I think they're going to be wanting to, if their aim is to get back towards world titles, that it would be to be doing it double quick speed. So they do have to think about that. I think from that point of view, Makhmudov absolutely makes sense. But like you say, commercially, that Martin Piccoli fight in Africa would be magical. Like it really would be a genuine special moment to see. Not only for African boxing fans, but I think anyone really would see that as exciting. So yeah, hopefully we get that as well. Hopefully we get some nice fun, you know, give me an Ebenezer Tete on the undercard.
I know
give me an Elvis Horger on the undercard. Do you know what I mean? Like give me some excitement, give me some magic. The other thing is as well, there is that issue in the moment in Ghana, isn't there, with, I believe, fighters from Ghana cannot fight in Ghana at the moment, or there's something with but presumably it won't be the Ghanaian Boxing Federation or whatever. No. I forget what their commission is. I don't know off the top of my head. Would be so. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see for that. But
yeah, hopefully they can use it as an opportunity to showcase African boxing. I know you spoke with Adi Oladipo on in the podcast you've done with him as well, and there's probably so much unearthed talent from that area of the world, and they often sometimes tend to be quite entertaining fighters as well, and characters that you really enjoy watching on, even if it's the undercard. So yeah, I think it'd be I think it could end up just being one of those cards that you just really remember, and yeah, when you look back in years to come, you just be like, oh, remember when we got to watch that? I think it could be pretty special. Yeah,
absolutely. I think we saw it as well with when there was talks of the Times Square, when there's talks of the where was the Alcatraz, things like that, and it's something different. You know, as much as I love the magic of the York Hall. The York Hall is a brilliant venue. I think the O2, if you can feel that magical venue, Wembley Arena, when I've been in there for some good nights, that is a brilliant venue, obviously. And then you look at, you know, the football stadiums and stuff like that around the UK. There's so many great venues here in the UK, but a lot of them we've seen and we've felt, you know, the Sheffield Arena with Dave Allen. That is something, like you say, it's different, it's interesting, it's intriguing, and particularly with AJ on the main event, I think it's something that, like you say, fans would look at and go, yeah, that's different, that's interesting. I would tune in for that. I'd pay a pay-per-view to watch AJ fight in Ghana, just because I think it would be interesting, it'd be cool. And I hope they get the fights and the card right for it.
Yeah, I think the build-up would be brilliant as well. You could imagine that fight week and just the whole atmosphere of AJ just arriving and getting ready for a fight night out there. I think, yeah, it would be really good. And yeah, hopefully we hear some news soon of who the opponent's going to be. I'm hoping it's Piccoli. Just like you said, it'll just be a real feel-good moment for African boxing, I think. But yeah, I think maybe the most likely looking is Makhmudov, because he didn't really take much damage in that Allen fight. He's probably good enough to go for the 20th of December, so I wouldn't be shocked if that's the fight they put together.
And I think, let's be real, I think respectfully, I think AJ probably puts Makhmedov out there pretty
but
comfortably.
He looks good out there as well, doesn't he?
And so I think that would be good from a commercial point of view. Talking, get people saying again. Certainly, the more casual boxing fans.
He's
AJ's back. AJ's back. I can already see Harry sat over there. AJ's back. Future world champ.
When he knocked out Ngannou.
Yeah.
He's
But I believed it. I believed it when
he lands that big right hand. There's that switch, and you just think, he's got the ability. He could do it.
Yeah.
You could land one of them on Tyson Fury next summer. The whole country erupts.
It was just,
Tyson Fury stands in.
Andy Ruiz has so much to answer for. So much to answer for. So many ruined dreams and memories. Thanks to
Never know, we could still get AJ Wilder if they somehow manage to build.
You know what though? AJ Wilder and Garner again.
That would be sick.
Would be amazing. I think that'd be a really interesting fight. And again, I think someone that AJ puts out there pretty comfortably. We haven't seen that kind of level of performance from Wilder in a long, long while. But if there's anyone that would get the bit between Wilder's teeth, it probably would be AJ or Fury, and the Fury fight's not happening. So never say never. We're dreaming. It's going to be the most logical ones, but we can dream. That's what we do, right?
Yeah.
We're putting our boxing fans hat on at the moment rather than our logic.
Before anything gets confirmed, we can speculate and get excited before they give him some random person we've never heard of to just bowl out there.
Yeah, someone that Harry would give you in the Guess the Fighter in 60 seconds, someone you've never come across. Anything else to square off on that? I don't think so. I think that is pretty much anything else we missed coming up in boxing, I think.
No, not really. I feel like this, even though Saturday's main event is a very big fight, this almost feels like the start now, especially November, is going to be hectic. There's so many, especially the Ring magazine events. And obviously you've got Eubank Ben, which I feel has gone slightly quiet.
Yeah, on the 12th, you've got Boatsy, Zach Parker.
Yeah, there's
on the 1st, which will be on DAZN. But yeah, that Ring 4 event is really special.
Yeah,
looking forward to
we should have a very busy November and plenty to talk about. So.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, so looking forward to all that stuff. If you're looking forward to all of that stuff in boxing, obviously it's coming. But if you subscribe here, it's free, unlike DAZN. And we'll be talking about all the fights. So consider that this is like your mini DAZN subscription, which is completely free. Or you can follow us on TikTok if you can't bother to listen to us for any more than 15 seconds. I don't blame you. But yeah, we're in our short form there. Otherwise, all the content on all the social medias, follow us, all that good stuff. We'll see you all next week.
Punches chance. Punches chance podcast.